I don't know what I'm going to do real forging. I'm just playing around right now. I'm going to try to make a spatula. Just to be different. I mean, I've got a fork and stuff for camping, so I want to make a spatula. I don't have the size piece of stock I need, so I'm going to take this piece, try folding it over, forge welding it down, give me a little more mass, and then spread that out and make my spatula. We'll see how it goes. Look at that. When I read, it doesn't even have an accent. Okay, so we'll warm up this piece. I'll put a scarf on the end, which in this case is just going to, since I'm folding it over and welding it right back on top of itself, my scarf's just going to be a taper on the end, just so that I can make the end of the weld disappear. So, you can see all I did was taper the end of the bar down. One piece, Adam. Not sure what I'm going to do on the handle end yet. See when I get there. Pull a lot of that mill scale and whatnot out of there. And I'm totally winging it, just guessing at how much I'm going to need. I'm going to heat that up and push a little more back. Epoxy? What the heck is epoxy? It's not a word we use. Oh, my nose itches. Yeah, I've done riveted ones before, but I don't know. I just wanted to try a different one, a little different style. Give myself a little more. Fold it over. Scarf. I almost have enough heat. I probably could have flushed it before I even went back in. I don't know. I just grabbed off the shelf. I've got about 6, 7 different kinds of flux over here. I grabbed some Swan Magic Weld. I don't know if anybody remembers this. It was all the rage 20 years ago. Comes in this little squirt bottle, but it does help you become frugal with it because it doesn't come out very easy. to do this weld over a couple of heats because it's kind of long. Yeah, I've done the riveted ones before, and 6 one way, half a dozen the other. This one, ideally, I wanted 5/8 square stock. That would have, I know how far I could stretch a half-inch square out, and it would have been about a couple inches. And adequate, you've been talking to my wife. There's half the weld, and I'll go right back in. Like I said, I did it in 2 because it's kind of a long weld. Should have done a better job of cleaning out my fire. I got a little quicker in there already, and I just started it. Grab my hammer. I'm going to flux it just barely right at the end of that. I'm going to flux it. I'm going to actually flip it over and set it on my anvil so that I can control exactly where I'm hitting it and squeeze that very end of that scarf down. Reflux. It's got to be almost bedtime over here, ain't it? And I didn't really announce that I was going to or schedule anything, so if anybody shows up, I'd be surprised other than you. I'm guessing that's just because you have really low standards. good, because when I pushed it down out here, that scarf didn't pop back up. It welded pretty good. It's getting kind of hot, so might as well just grab a set of tongs. I'm not messing with it, burning myself. Now that I got that folded over and welded, I'm going to go ahead and spread it out, and that'll allow me to bring this thing out to, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 inches wide. The highest quality of iron smasher, huh? Yep, low standards. This has a cross peen, but this cross peen is pretty blunt. I think I may switch to one of my my Swedish style cross peens. It's a little sharper, a little more aggressive, since I'm doing a bunch of spreading. In no big hurry, just take your time, take a few heats, widen this right out. I'm also going to go back, even though I've got heat in it, pretty often, so that I keep it at or near welding heat. I'm starting to widen it out. That handle is a Swedish cross peen. This one here is a Pettinghaus, I believe. But I have a set of 4 of those hammers. This big one's kind of heavy. This is a 2,000 gram. I don't use it very often. I had to use the second biggest one and the smallest one. I'm burning up. That wasn't good. It burnt right up. Not paying attention. I'm going to keep going and see what I can do with it. May have to start over. Looks like I lost a lot of the mass I was trying to build up because I wasn't paying attention. And burn it up. Suppose I can clip the end off, fold it over. This piece might be long enough to still do it, because I got so much of it that's going to get thinned out. Or I could just grab another piece if I got one. Alright, let's try that again. Sucked too, because that weld took really well. Yeah, this one right here is a 1,500 gram. Like I said, the big one's 2,000. This is 1,500. I know that I bought the set from Blacksmith Depot, and the 3 bigger ones were petting hosses, but the little one was Blacksmith Depot. So, yeah, there's 1,000, 1,500. The big one's 2,000. I think that's a 750 right there, the small one. I think they were having a sale at them, and it ended up being like all 4 of them for $160 or something. So in the end, it ended up being like $40 a hammer. So couldn't really go wrong. They're good hammers. I've used them for a long time. My scarf. Start folding over, but I want to brush it. And that brushing's kind of important before you fold it over, because that allows you to even get rid of the mill scale that's from the factory. Alright, let's clean this up, fold it over, flux it, give it another try. Got a little bit of that Coke in a bag over there, since I'm doing a forge roll. Maybe I'll use that, throw some of that Coke right on it. It's supposed to be cleaner than the regular coal. I really haven't had much opportunity to use it. Scarfed and fold it over again. Let's try this again. Yep, I make mistakes probably more than most other people, so everybody seems to think I'm a real good blacksmith, but I'm not. think that's hardened up in there. Quick switch, try something else. Some Keys flux. Had a guy that was making this flux 20 years ago. It was all the rage. I believe it's just borax and like a laboratory grade iron oxide powder. It is a pretty fine powder. And a lot of times I just flux right in the fire. Keep this handy. This is my new cross peen I picked up at Quad State. It's kind of like one of the Brian Brazil styles, but it's cross peen instead of round and hammer. I like it. It's Mark Ling. All right. I'm going to just tap that down. I don't want to squeeze all the flux out. I'm going to go right back in. Heat it up and do the second half. Have to grab my tongs here soon. I don't know if it's FE3 or FeO4. I just know it was like some iron oxide powder that he bought and mixed in with his. I've known John V for 30 years, so he told me the recipe, but I tried it. Didn't seem like it was any better or worse than anything else. Okay. So that's welded from about there all the way down, and now I just got that little scarf to do. Oh man, that coke is definitely hotter. It's red. As you can see, it's mixed with the borax, and that's the color. Like I said, when I go to do that scarf, what I do is I put the scarf side down and come right off the corner, off the edge. That way, I don't have to worry about hitting it in exactly the same spot with the hammer every time, because it's sitting in exactly the same spot on the anvil, right on the corner. Now you can see It's folded over, it's welded up. I don't know if you can see the end of the scarf there. But the scarf's starting to disappear pretty good. So now I'll go in and switch back to that other hammer and start spreading it. And I may even go down to a lighter hammer. The 1,000 grams. And just swing it a little harder. Stainless scrolls. Oh man, trying to make us all look bad. Fancy stainless steel. Now I'm going to spread this out, but like I said before, I'm going to try to keep it close to welding temperature while I'm spreading it. Without burning it up this time. See, starting to spread. I won't worry about it. I'm in no big hurry. I mean, really just making it just to make it because I haven't done anything in so long. So, if it takes a few extra heats, it takes a few extra heats. Who knows? If I get it widened out and I just need to flatten it out, I might even go over and take it over to the power hammer. All depends. Sometimes I do it all by hand, and sometimes I got a power hammer sitting right there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to kill myself for no reason. Keep spreading it out, going back, putting it back up, spread it out. Got a piece of scale in between the hammer handle. Yeah, just trying to get back into it. I mean, it's tough. And I'm just moving around and trying to smash it in without leaving too many really big dents. But it's going to take a few more heats until I get it out wide enough to where I want it. Then I keep noticing I'm going over towards my tail and not staying in the middle where I got all my mass. Move my handle over a little bit. What do you got for a power hammer, Trail Dust? Now you can see mine's in the background there. It's a homemade jobber. My tire's on the back. actually got a leaf spring instead of toggle arms. This handle is definitely too big for that light a hammer. Actually, I can look right here on this one and see where I already sanded that one down. I'm starting to bring it out, get some good flare on it. I did one years ago where I did 3 pieces. PTFO. Alright. 50-pound tire hammer, like a Clay Spencer style. Or, well, I forget who's doing them now. Dave Gunther, maybe? See, we're still just spreading. I think now I can be I don't have to spread as much. I can go back to this. I still got the cross beam if I need it. Oh, pass the F out. Okay. Well, if you weren't down there standing on your head, you wouldn't pass out. Once again, we're still just spreading. Right now I got it out probably maybe easily 2.5 inches wide. Which I don't know if I really need any wider than that for a spatula just for camping. And a lot of times I'll just cheat and I'll get it spread out wider than wherever I think I'm going to need, and then just go back with the sander and make the shape. I think now I will just go ahead and smooth that out, flatten it out nice and smooth. No, I don't like that. My scarf is starting to peel up from my weld. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to have to go back and have to get a good heat on that scarf and close it back up. Suppose I can try this anti-borax. I don't know if you can. Anti-borax, easy welding flux. Coal and gas forged welding compound. Don't ask me why, I just have a bunch of these fluxes that I bought years ago and never used. I have these commercial fluxes and I just reach over and grab the regular plain old borax every time. Oh. To you. I've got my metal glue on there, all ready to go. I don't know if you can see all the little sparkles in my fire. That's from the iron powder or whatever they put in that flux coming off. It's not the piece burning. Can't get this skirt to stick down. If not, we'll be starting over again. Thought I had it stuck pretty good. Brush that extra flux off, and that looks pretty good. aggressive. It's all down in here stuck to it. I don't know, spear grass or drill dust. I can't even, on my screen, I can't even tell how many people are watching, unless maybe I put it up over there on YouTube. I might be able to do that. I don't know if Tim's ever lurked or saw my channel, or even knows about it. I mean, if I knew more about OBS, I could go in and actually see who's watching. But I'm not exactly the most computer literate. All right, let me brush the heck out of this and then, yeah, that's better. Then go over there. Get some hammers done. So that's going to be my spatula. About 2.5 inches wide, so I'm going to go a little wider with it. Not too much. Oh, the other one's probably my wife. Now I can't figure out how to get to my thing on there. I don't know. Worry about it later. Alright, let me widen this out a little more. Once you get it that thin, it cools really fast too. All right. I'll tell you how many are. Okay, so I'm going to widen it out a little bit more and then go back. Riding the dry horses. I rode a horse when I was younger. I don't think you were here for it, Kevin, but earlier what I did was, I actually took the bar. I didn't have the size stock that I wanted. So I took the bar and folded it over and welded itself back together to give me some more mass so that I can spread it out and make that spatula piece. Now I'll get my not so fancy guillotine tool out. See if this will fit through it before I get any farther. Yeah, it'll go. And I'll neck it down and start drawing out my handle. Or, well, I guess the stem of it. And every other time I go out to the shop, my wife asks me for a shepherd, so I keep trying to tell her it just ain't gonna happen. I'm just making a spatula. Just goofing around, Kevin. I haven't done a whole lot of blacksmithing, so I'm trying to get back into it. Get the swing of it. Of course, where I'm necking it down is right where that weld scarf is, too. Getting good heat there, so it doesn't pop apart. Yeah, and like I said, I'm just going to kind of forge that, spread it out and make a blob there that is going to be my spatula, but I'll end up grinding the actual finished shape on it. Kind of just taking my time because I got to come in right there where where I necked it down. Bring my hammer in at just the right spot. You know the drill. To try to get it drawn down right to where I use my guillotine tool. So what else is up with trail dust? I heard you were whining earlier that Quad State didn't have a counter up yet. Now that's right where that weld scarf is, so I'm going to bring my temp right up the welding temp so that it doesn't pop that weld apart. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. That little color difference right there is the weld scarf picked up. So let me reflux it and try to push it down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to now. It probably has contamination in it. We'll try it, see what happens. I don't know, this isn't really like a big educational first meeting of what? AA, NA, Old Worn Out Cowboys Anonymous. Blacksmith Guild. I mean, as long as you've been doing it, you should have been to a meeting by now. Oh, join your local guild last fall. Went to your first meeting last week. Okay, yeah. So, blacksmith. Just trying to watch this carefully. Bring it up. Mounted patrol. Oh, they retired. Alright, that looks like it welded back down. Probably won't know until I get farther down. Mounted control head. Spatulas are as flammable as horseshoes. Well, yes. Because the one I did earlier, I burned up and had to start all over already once. While Adam was watching. So I will never hear the end of that. Oh, I'll get some more heat farther up. So let's see, I had Adam and Kevin and my wife. So three whole viewers. Oh, if Rob saw that. Maybe pounding flats. Just drawing out the stem piece. I'm going to go over and do some drawing over there. I don't know if I'm going to even get this one done because if it draws down any more right below the spatula where that stem meets it, I'm going to have not enough material there because I went back and re-welded that scarf down a couple times. Allows me to draw it down. Yeah, my power hammer doesn't hit as fast as those the other, you know, the typical tire hammers. So it doesn't hit as fast, but my weight is 100 pounds. So it definitely hits harder. Yeah, years and years ago when they first started doing all them tire hammer classes, I signed up for the class and put the down payment down, and then something happened that I wasn't going to have the money, so I ended up not going to it. Sold my my ticket basically to a different guy. Yeah, because years ago, I mean, I can remember back when they first came out, Clay Spencer designed them and came out with them, and he was doing classes all over the country. And then I believe that he sold the rights to do the classes and the plans and everything to Dave Custer, but I'm not 100% sure. Dave Custer is Fiery Furnace Forge there. Alright. He didn't have plans, just went off. Yeah, I didn't have plans either. I just went off pictures, but mine's drastically different. I have a bowstring in the front instead of them toggle arms and a coil spring. My tire is mounted at the back, not the front. I got a shaft that runs through with two big pillow blocks and a counterweight out here to help balance it out a little bit where my eccentric is. Inside here I've got that Ty-Bar 88, which is an ultra high molecular weight plastic basically. There are some changes I've been making. Okay. Alright, so now I guess I got that about where I wanted to. It starts off small and kind of tapers up a little bit. I think I'm going to leave it like that rather than try to get it the same size all the way through. Now I'll go back and start rounding it up a little bit. Heat that up before I try to bend it and crack it. Problem with my hammer is I don't have a whole lot of really fine control. So if I'm, it's good for mashing things, but when you try to get in there and do real precise work, sometimes I mess up more than it does me good. So sometimes I don't use it when I probably easily could use it. Just trying to get it lined up. Now I'll come up and do this half next. I started with 1/4 by 3/4, I think. I don't believe it's 1 inch. Yeah, 1/4 by 3/4. The length, I just grabbed the piece off the, whatever length it was. I plan on having to cut it off anyway, so I couldn't tell you what the length was. Since I'm not making a pair or a set or multiples, I don't worry too much about my starting stock length and stuff, because unless I'm trying to make, a bunch of them that all match, and then I need to know exactly how much material I started with. But I'd also make sure that I make 4 or 5 of whatever I'm going to do and get the process down pretty good before I try to do multiples of anything. And this here, I'm just winging it. And can you hear me when I'm talking? Because if I look away, I'm not sure. All right. I didn't even round it. I just knocked the corners off and made it like an octagon, but it's a little wider than it is thick, so it's not really a true octagon. You know what I'm saying? Alright. I think that's going to be long enough, and now I can start on the handle. And I think on the handle, I'm just going to do a like an elongated diamond shape. Then maybe I'll come in after that and make a little loop to hang it with. So I've got a few different ways I can make that. I can taper it out and bend it around, or I can put a hole in it and open the hole up. So what's your project now, Kevin? I mean, that you're working on lately? Yeah, I know Yamez used to, do a lot more talking and had his project already and figured out before he started. All that. I really wish he'd go back to doing the videos again. The 6 o'clock ones, and not just talking about blacksmithing. Sometimes you spend more time just straightening it than anything else. So you can see I made a taper there for my handle. I think what I'm going to do is come in right about here and pinch it with my guillotine tool, and then cut it off, punch a hole in it, make a ring. Finish the scrolls for Jordan. So is this a job for work, Kevin, or is this something you're doing at home? the gate, the garden bench, I mean. I think I saw one you did recently. Oh man, I got a massive pointer in here. Alright, I had to clean out my fire, so. It'll take a minute to get that back up to temp. Oh, back. This here was like one of the first hammers that I actually made. And it was made out of a chunk of forklift fork, so I ended up, you know, it was narrower than this and taller, and I ended up squishing it all the way down and upsetting it. That was back before I had the power hammer, and I did it by hand. Not gonna lie, it took me days to make it. I find that if I roll it over against this side, I tend to be able to hammer it down more consistently than in the middle. Now I'll come in and do the tapers down to that fuller. If you screw it up, it's still strapped. Yeah, my buddy used to say that he was making boat anchors, and in order for it to be a successful boat anchor, all it really had to do was sink. Alright, now let me taper that down. Knocking the corners off. Alright, now I'll take a heat up and I'm just going to cut that end right off. Leave a little material there. Make a loop to hang it with. Now this cutter that I got came with my anvil when I got this anvil probably almost 30 years ago. Trying to think. Yeah, probably almost 30 years ago. I keep saying, oh, I'm going to make a, one of the Brazil style ones where the top is curved so that it cuts more efficiently than a flat one. And I made a few for other anvils, but I never get around to making one for this one. So I still got the one that came with the anvil. Took me a while to get used to looking in the corner for the close-up. Oh. I suppose I better pick that piece up. That's how I burnt the last shop down. Well, if I'd met my anvil 50 years ago, I would have been 2. I probably wouldn't have remembered it. Okay, I got a big taper on the end of that from where I cut it, so I'm going to cheat. Just walk over here. And get rid of it. Now you can see I got, all I was doing was just making the end. I wasn't making it round. I was just taking the taper that was on the end of it off. Oh, crap. Alright. So, make this a little bit more round. punch a hole through that end. I'm going to do it in a couple steps. Let's see if I like the looks of it. Alright, got that stuck, so I'll come over here and just drive it a little deeper. And it'll come out. Got a hole. And obviously I'll just go in with a tapered drift and open the hole up a little more. Sometimes I'll go right to the horn. It all depends. That one looks pretty centered and even all the way around, so I'll just run a drift in. If it was off, I would go to the horn so that I could correct it. Getting there, she's starting to open up. And I probably have it handled. Yeah. There we go, I got it handled. Tapered drift there, I can drive in a lot easier. Now it's coming out. Well, that size is pretty good. Now I'll just go back, straighten it up, go to the horn of my anvil now and just kind of clean it up. Not really looking to reduce the size or anything like that, just clean it up a little. You ever hate it when you go in there and you had it pretty centered and then you go to fix it just a little bit and then it goes all cattywampus? Yeah, first thing you do is try to round it back up again. Well, that's not horrible. So I got my handle area, my spot to hang it, my thing, and this down here is really just going to get trimmed out with, you know what, I might push that a little more on that end before I shut down the forge. Might push this end and make it just a little bit bigger. But it is pretty darn flat right now. And like I said, that's just a big blob, and what I'll do is I'll draw out the shape I want that spatula to be, and then just go over to my sander and sand it to the line. In the old days, they would have been like, oh, you know, 5 extra minutes at the forge might save you an hour of filing, you know, if they had to do it with files and stuff, but I really don't have to, so I guess I'm not too worried about that. If I was totally traditional, then I suppose I could come in and try to get it closer to the shape I want, all by hand. Or you can take a chisel, if you're traditional, and cut it to shape with a chisel. You know, the heat, just kind of tweak it and straighten it. I am traditional today. No, I'm definitely going to go ahead and go right over there. I mean, If I wanted to be traditional, I could put it in the vise and file it. If you want to sit here and talk for a while. I think I'm almost going to do like a little round spot and then flare it out wide. And then later on, when I put a little curve in the handle, I'll probably just heat it up with the oxyacetylene and use that rather than you know, because you want to put a little curve in the handle, and I'll probably just do that with traditional to today's equipment. Yeah, sure. Whatever that's supposed to mean. But it's even pretty straight in the axis. It doesn't have a twist between the handle and the spatula. So it's pretty straight that way and everything, so it's not too bad. You have a lot of scale down there where I heated that thing up. Now, what I'll do is I'll grab a relatively straight piece and lay it back here on the handle. Because it's definitely got a little bit of lean to one side. That'll let me know right where my middle is. Oh, somewhere over here on this flat horizontal surface. This area right here, the kind of a catch-all of little things, was originally meant where I got a computer sitting here and I got a little press sitting here. But this area here was originally meant for where my gas forges go. But now they're sitting back in the other end of the shop. Yeah, they're both up on the shelf. Okay. Now I'll go to that line and square off. Now my end's straight and square. Now what I'll do is kind of pick one side or the other. Dry it off a little bit. Now what do I do with that? I put it in there just enough to dry it off so that my soapstone, I can see it on there better. Now I got kind of my shape drawn out there, and I'll just go over there and grind it till it's that shape. Cheating, I know. Might not go as deep as where I cut. All right. I didn't go all the way to the line because I kind of like that shape a little bit better than where I drew it. All right, Trail Dust, I'll see you around. I'm just going to finish this up, and I might even finish it up offline. I'm not even sure I'm going to save this stream, and it wasn't that good. But have a good one.